Hurricane season 2023 got off with a bang as Tropical Depression 2 developed on the first day of hurricane season. Don't worry, guys, it's not going to last long. What's going on? I'm certified meteorologist Jonathan Kegis. And in this video, we are going to talk about Tropical Depression 2. It looks pretty sad on this Friday morning, June 2nd. We're going to break it all down, talk about the track and its impacts to Florida. Now, this is not coming to Florida. This is going to meander south, kind of parallel to the Sunshine State, kind of fizzle out, but it is still going to drag tropical moisture across the peninsula, especially the southern tip, and that is going to give us some rounds of heavy rain that could bring flooding. So we're going to break all of that down. I'll show you the high-res model coming up in just a minute for the state of Florida, and then I'll also show you the National Hurricane Center latest forecast. First things first, I want to break down this satellite. You see where the thunderstorms are. That is an old illustration line. All the storms are right up in here, blossoming a little bit. The center, though, way back here. Okay, so we have an issue. Well, we don't have an issue. Tropical Depression 2 has an issue. It's not very healthy this morning. Again, that is a great thing for us as the center of circulation and the mid-level center of circulation are not co-located, it really can't thrive. We had a trough in the upper levels that was kind of helping it breathe a little bit. It was a very minimized area of wind shear, very localized area of low wind shear yesterday, June 1st, and that helped to allow it to breathe. It let it to get stacked a little bit. Now this trough is kind of moving in that direction. It's really inducing that westerly shear, blowing those thunderstorms off and away from its center as the center itself kind of drifts down in that direction. Again, not good news for the storm, good news for really everybody in the United States, everybody in Cuba as well, as this kind of meanders. It's not going to be on the stronger side. I want to show you the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Again, this is the official forecast from the Hurricane Center. Yesterday, it was anticipated that it would become a tropical storm. You see there, though, that the D all the way down before it eventually fizzles out as it does head towards Cuba. So, again, if you happen to be tuning in from Cuba or parts of the Cayman Islands, even Jamaica might be able to get some rain, but certainly some heavy rain with this is going to be on the western tip of Cuba. We'll show you that in just 1 second. But Tropical Depression 2 is no longer expected to become a tropical storm. You might be wondering as well, this is going to be a tangent. Why did we start with Tropical Depression 2? Well, that is a great question. Last month, during routine reanalysis, the National Hurricane Center actually discovered that back in January, we had a subtropical storm develop. So that was actually the first named storm of the season. Now, while that's storm number 1, the Hurricane Center doesn't rename storms if they missed one. So they didn't give that name Arlene. So the first named storm of the season, once we actually get one to become a tropical storm, will still be Arlene. Confusing, I know. But this is the second storm of the season to become tropical or subtropical. So that's why we're on 2. I know. It's kind of weird. Anyway, let's get on with it. I want to show you these spaghetti models, the infamous spaghetti plots here. And all in agreement here, there's really not much going on in terms of steering it. It's going to be pushed down here by that upper level trough that was kind of helping it breathe for a little bit. There's also like way up north. It's not right here, but it's like way up towards mid-Atlantic. There's also a big area of high pressure, which is also helping to steer it in that direction as well. So we have that agreement there that it kind of works its way back up to the Florida Straits, out over the northern end of the Bahamas, and then out towards the open waters of the Atlantic. But again, by that point, we're talking about this thing being a shell of itself, and it wasn't all that impressive to begin with. I will show you that here. Let me take you to my models page, blow this out. This is on Tropical Tidbits. If you are a nerd like me and a lot of people that follow this channel, this is a great site, especially for tropical meteorology. It's all free as well, so you can nerd out with us. Here's the deal. Let me take this back in time. I had it set to Sunday. We can see our little guy go to Friday afternoon, and you see, we'll start it on Friday morning. So this is going to be the Friday morning run. So before this recording, I just want to show you how weak and how quickly this thing weakens Notice where all the heavy rain is, all the weather, it's on the eastern side. That is because of that westerly wind shear. Note, though, we do have an area of low pressure here, but watch what happens. And then we'll go back to Florida itself. Look at that. It jumps all around. The model can't even tell where the center is. That is going to be on Saturday. We still have some moisture streaming into the Florida peninsula. But the point I'm trying to make is this thing weakens very quickly. All right, we're going to back this up just a little bit because I want to show you the impacts to Florida. And again, it's not like what you might think. This is not going to make a quote-unquote landfall in Florida, at least over the next couple of days. It may end up passing through South Florida, the center, but it's not going to be tropical at the time, as it's going to completely get ripped apart by the wind shear. Here is the deal. This is the afternoon, so we have our area of low pressure here. We have counterclockwise winds around high pressure. We have clockwise winds around high pressure. So around low pressure, the counterclockwise winds. So that means we have that surface wind out of the south and southeast to the Florida peninsula. So it is bringing in a lot of tropical moisture to south and parts of central Florida. And that is going to continue. That's Friday afternoon. There we go. On Friday evening, you see a big flare up there of thunderstorms. Lake Okeechobee, Fort Myers, toward the Everglades, even as far north as, I think, south of Orlando. Gets in on that, probably towards Fort Pierce as well, dodging some scattered thunderstorms. I'll show you the high-res model in just 1 second. But you see it there. We'll still keep bringing in, even though that the center is down towards Cuba, with that flow off of the Atlantic, we're going to keep scattered showers rolling right onto the weekend. But really, it's nothing to write home about. I do want you to pay close attention, really, from the Lake Okeechobee area towards Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Naples, the Keys, into Miami as well. That is where we do have a flood watch for the potential for some of those storms to get a little rowdy and produce a lot of heavy rain. Again, it's very humid if you've been outside. If you live in that area, there's a lot of moisture for those storms to take advantage of. So basically, Tropical Depression 2 is like a thunderstorm enhancer. It's a little shot in the arm for those thunderstorms, those daily thunderstorms that get rolling in South Florida and Central Florida, to give them just a little boost. I want to kind of play that out here. This is going to be Friday afternoon, and you kind of see what I'm talking about. Here is our center of low pressure right out there, and then we have these like clusters of thunderstorms kind of moving from the Atlantic to the Gulf side throughout the course of the afternoon. So there you see that there. Let me actually switch a run to the 6Z run. That's going to be the 2 a.m. run because we get 48 hours of data, so we can go further out to the afternoon. So this is going to be Saturday now. The low is really kind of fizzled out. This is something different. This is the high res just popping a low there because it thinks there's a low there. There's not. But you see it there. Just like kind of these clusters of heavy thunderstorms towards Miami, towards Fort Lauderdale, towards the Keys, and then again rolling through Central Florida as well. We're looking good in the Panhandle. That is going to be on just before 8 o'clock. That's like dinner time on Saturday. We're still going to be doing a little bit of dodging there on in terms of the thunderstorm front. But again, Tropical Depression 2 is not coming here. It's just an indirect impact for us. Alrighty, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hey, if you want to stay updated on all things hurricane season, hit subscribe. We love to have you here. We love breaking down the weather. Again, we got off to I'll call it an active start. We named a storm. The Hurricane Center named a storm on the first day of hurricane season, so it was certainly fitting. It's not going to do anything. It's going to be harmless. It is my hope that every storm like this year is, or this storm this year is like that, either staying out at sea or just living a very short and eventless life like this one is doing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's great to see everybody. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. And we will catch you next time.